Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a big show coming your way as always, and a whole new look for 2018. We've lost the couch, and so we now meet in a bar to talk fishing, and we'll be with you right through until the first week in May. So sit back and enjoy your Tuesday night fix of Talking Fishing. As I said, a big show tonight highlighting some of the pics sent to us over the last month in Catch of the Week. Hazelwood Pondage, it's back open for Barra. The Kingfish are back in a big way, and we have a special co-host tonight from Geelong who will cover the area extensively. All that and plenty more, so let's get into it with a big welcome to the man who travels by kayak, Adam Ring. Welcome, Ads.
Thanks, Dave. Great to be back, and this is all a little bit special. Have a look at this. Done away with the couch, done away with the swanky clothes. Have a look at us go.
Less to pack up at the end of the night, I tell you, it's a good thing. And it's a big welcome to a man all the way from Geelong. His first appearance on Talking Fishing from Trellies in Geelong. Please welcome Chris Pittman.
G'day.
How are you, Chris?
Fantastic. Awesome to be here.
Good to have you here. We've had a couple of ring-ins for Trelly, and in fact, we should explain where is Trelly.
He's down in Nelson on Glenelg River.
Oh, we left him somewhere in the city last week, and we haven't seen him since. So he's
made his perch.
Made his way to Nelson.
I'm sure we'll see some photos coming up.
Yeah, we'll get some photos. But Trelly will be back next week. He's just away, as always, first week, and what do you do? So, Chris, Geelong, that whole area, and even the back out west, the lakes, offshore Barra, it's just been a great place to fish this summer, hasn't it?
It has. The fishing's going from strength to strength, and there's such a variety of species on offer. It's just whatever you want to do, you're going to go out there and you're going to catch something, that's for sure.
Don't you love this time of year? I mean,
yeah.
Before Christmas, you know, we were building up, and everyone does get busy, and it's a hectic time of year, but you get into this time of year, the days are still long, the weather is absolutely sensational, and all the species are alive and well right now, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I guess that's kind of our transition period. We've seen the real heat of the summer, I'd say. The crowds from the holiday period are gone, and us as fishermen tend to almost get the bay to ourselves in a time where the summer species are still going strong, but we're starting to see some of the winter species start to cruise up a little bit as well, and I can't wait to talk about the Western District lakes because
they are on fire. Some sensational trophy trout.
Wrong time of year to be catching trout.
It's bizarre. You can literally catch anything from a trout to a tuna at the moment within 2 hours from Geelong. So it's nuts.
That is crazy. Folks, let's have a look at what's being caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the Week, brought to you by Shimano, providing reliable, trustworthy, quality fishing gear for your enjoyment.
Now, boys, there was two things I did when I was on holidays at Christmas. I've got to pick up here. No, we haven't got any picks up tonight.
We've done away with you.
Going well on the graphics.
We've done away with your
First show back. No. Oh, yeah, we have got. There you go. There's two things I did. One, I forgot to shave.
I was going to say, you caught a kingfish, the other one you didn't shave.
And I don't mind saying
it's old Bancramer.
that I cracked my first meter kingfish this year.
Awesome.
Fish too.
I've caught them in other states, so I should qualify that. That's my first meter in Victoria. And it's just been an awesome season. I mean, it actually started, I think, a little bit earlier, or whether people did, they're probably always there and people started targeting a little bit earlier. But the rip has just been sensational this year.
And we've seen that next size class. We're used to catching the little rat kingfish, which have been around the last few years with the odd decent one. But we've had a few weeks in a row now where the fish have been in excess of a metre, and we'll have a look at another one a little bit later on.
Well, no, have a look at the next one right now. Have a look at this. This is the biggest one that I've come across anyway. 117 centimetres caught on real-time charters in the rip. That's a trophy fish.
And in the rip itself, for those who haven't fished there, that is a trophy fish because it's not easy ground to try and tackle big kingfish like that.
No, No.
Lots
Chris,
of strong tides.
Have you seen anything bigger than 117?
Not from the rip. That's probably
No.
the biggest I've seen so far. That's
Yeah.
an excellent fish.
Yeah, I mean, there's around the Knobbies and Cape Shank and that, obviously some bigger fish there, but I think that's the biggest that I've seen from the rip in a long,
that's
long
for
time.
sure.
And certainly this
Beautiful
season.
fish.
So,
Quite a fair few years.
and I've fished plenty of times beside Matt Sini this year, and boy, is he the king of kingfish, I tell you.
He's got them worked out, hasn't he?
He has got them worked out. Now, the good thing is, if you're not catching kingfish, there are just acres and acres and acres of these. Have a look at this for the size of the salmon. Now, that was down at Seal Rocks. Pat Ellaby is a great fisherman and loves getting out that western entrance, but they are salmon and a half,
They're genuine blackbacks, aren't they?
aren't they?
They give you a real
unreal.
run for your money and fill in the time while you're waiting for a kingfish to come along.
And I mean, there is literally acres of those, and not just in the areas where you get the kingfish, but right up through the bay.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
off
right.
Mornington, off Mount Martha. Are they? Do you get
They're
the
out
big
off Barra
salmon?
Heads. They're even showing up in the bay, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
out of Clifton Springs.
And
How good's that?
they should only get better over the next few months too as the water starts to cool.
Absolutely. Let's keep moving along. Blue Rock, always a great time of year for the Blue Rock bass, and Melissa Phelps got out on them, and that's a lovely size and looking fish.
It is. Aren't those fish at Blue Rock starting to get to that point where people are going to start losing a lot of gear to these fish solely for the characteristics they have in their fight amongst the snags? They're starting to get to a really healthy size now, and they're starting to fill out a little bit. They're like little freight trains hooking them off the sticks.
Absolutely.
Great fun on surface.
Let's stay with the freshwater theme, and Murray cod is the next one. Have a look at this. Kathy Hope sent in this one. Matthew Hope got this fish on New Year's Day, about 30 k's downstream from Moama, and it was caught on one of his kids' rods with Colby cheese for bait. Wouldn't you just cry? If you're a cod fisherman, and these days you're spending about $200 a lure on surface and all that, and a bloke like Matthew comes along and he catches one on a kid's rod with Colby cheese.
That's awesome.
That is a cracker. And Matthew, well done. Thanks, Kathy, for sending
fish.
that in. That was a classic. Portland, you can't go past Portland.
No.
We talk about it, it's a year-round fishery now, and yes, there's patches of time when you don't get them, but Paul as a party got down there with our good mate Chris Halstead, and these are chunky tuna down there at the moment, aren't they?
They're almost 30 kilo.
Yeah.
Great fish, genuine 30 kilo, not
Yeah,
the
proper
30
ones,
kilo
yeah.
ones
Yep.
that we hear from during the season.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 30 give or take 20. So great stuff down at Portland. Another one from Portland too, because you can't forget this species at this time of year. Troy Gretsch got a lovely kingfish down there, and if I mispronounce Gretsch, I'm sure I'll hear about it, because the Northern Metro Angling Club, I think it is, Troy's from, and I'm sure Leah will tell me that I've said it wrong or whatever. So another favourite spot of ours, and I know it's always been in hot spots regularly.
Yep.
Not going to say it today because it's not going to be in hot spots anyway today, because I think they just need a rest. But have a look at this. Every year, the Victorian Fisheries Authority have a staff fishing competition, and this bloke's won it 3 times in a row. Now, Steve is the manager of Snobs Creek Hatchery.
Yeah, has been a guest on this show.
Been a guest on this show, and he's landed an 85 centimetre take out the comp for 3 years in a row. Well done, Steve. And I'm also told that the smallest fish would have gone to Travis Dowling, except he didn't actually catch one. So
oh, well, there you go.
someone else got the smallest fish. Travis was disqualified for not catching one.
There you
go. It's funny this 85 centimetre mark keeps coming up, because we had a few of these before Christmas.
Yeah.
But Ian Hawhey, I think is the right way to pronounce it, he also got an 85 centimetre dusky down at Lake Tyers, and we might even show you sometime tonight if we can get
There
up.
we go.
There it is.
The buttons are, I think someone put blue tack on the button, and it's a bit hard to press tonight. But anyway, Ian, well done. Now, Ian's from New Zealand. I'm tipping he goes back and goes, they got these flathead. They're big over in Australia.
I've spoken to Ian a couple of times in the shop since
Yeah.
that trip, and doesn't that photo give you a true indication of just how wide these things start getting
massive,
across the back of the head?
huge.
And that's at
Yeah.
85 centimetres,
Yeah.
let alone...
Well, have a look at this, because Frank Melito down at the Caltex at Lakes, he's running a bit of a competition, and he gets all the photos sent to him. Have a look at this, a genuine 100 centimetre or 1 metre dusky flathead from Lake Tyers. Matt Thumer. Now, whether that photo's fantastic or not, have a look at the next one on the brag mat, and it cracks just by the tip of the tail, 1 metre.
I tell you
It's a
how
nice
you can
one
tell
to tick off the list.
it's
good
big.
fish.
Like an 85 centimetres big chunky fish,
Yeah.
but when you've got to awkwardly cuddle a 1 metre flat,
Yeah.
you know it's big.
That is a good fish.
That's a cracking
in
fish.
anyone's book.
That is a trophy.
Lake
sure.
Tyres on fire. If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
And next on Talking Fishing, fisheries news, including all the info on cod in Rocklands and Barra in Hazelwood, right after this.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wear the line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing. Every day's a chance to drift away.
Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See it down and tackle world today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Live from the studios of Channel 31 Melbourne, it's now time for some very fishy news.
Tell you what, boys, I think we've been gone for 5 weeks on holidays. Has the news rolled in or what? I'll tell you, I've had to cull it a little bit. I've got to get some really important stories out, but there's some really good things happening in fishing, and it is just amazing. Let's wind the clock back, and I know this was probably announced in December, but it is big news, and I don't know that people quite understand just how big it is, because it's the new Eildon in 10 years' time.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Rocklands Reservoir. Let's kick it off. Back in December, Rocklands Reservoir in southwest Victoria received 70,000 Murray cod fingerlings to kickstart a progress to become the newest and most exciting native fishery in Victoria. Rocklands will be stocked with more than 200,000 Murray cod and golden perch fingerlings this summer, aligning with the Andrews government's record $46 million Target 1 commitment to get more people fishing more often. Travis Dowling, the CEO of Victorian Fisheries Authority, said local angling clubs have been calling for this stocking of native fish for more than 20 years to improve the quality of fishing in Rocklands Reservoir. Now, this takes the people out west.
It does. It's a great option.
And if you saw the photos of Rocklands, it is an amazing place.
It's pristine, yeah.
Yeah, it is really amazing. In fact, it goes on to say Rocklands Reservoir has fantastic fish habitat for native fish that was created when the forest was flooded during its construction in the 1950s. So trees galore. As a result of this stocking, visitation to Rocklands is expected to double over the next 5 years, particularly as stocked fish approach legal size. This is expected to generate an additional $6 million in fishing-related expenditure in the region as travelling fishers stay overnight, buy fuel, tackle and food as they go fishing. Boys, can you believe the opposition, the government, are trying to knock this on the head and say you can't do it?
Well, see, that's
I just
huge
get-
news.
Doesn't make sense.
No, but there's some idiots down there that are elected members of Parliament or whatever it is, right, that are trying to knock this on the head, trying to cause trouble with
For
it.
what reason? What's their reason? Just for being difficult?
There's a little bit of controversial that I guess it's the first time they've stocked Murray cod that far south of the
okay.
Divide, I think. But I mean, seriously, they did I think it goes on 120. Rocklands Reservoir currently holds. No, we don't want to show a picture of a King George whiting, so we'll put that on in the next one. Are we going to get that off? Yes. But it's a 120-page independent fish stocking risk assessment said it would be okay, and then a couple of people with green thumbs said, nah, we don't want to back that, even though 120-page document said it was okay. So anyway, go figure.
What would the scientists know?
Next one. We just previewed it. You got to see a little picture of a King George whiting. But the headline is Boom Times Ahead for King George whiting. And this is just fantastic news, boys. Very high numbers of baby King George whiting have been recorded in fisheries surveys of Port Phillip Bay for the second consecutive year, which is great news for whiting stocks and recreational fishers who hold the species in high regard on the table as much as sport fish. Travis Dowling said anglers could expect sensational fishing from 2019 to 2021, when the juvenile whiting detected in 2016 and 17 have grown to catchable size. Now, these boys have been doing this survey work since 1998, and they are forecasting an abundance of whiting. Later on, we'll talk about how whiting's going right now, because I reckon we're in a little bit tough times. Not that the fish are in bad, Nick.
They're in excellent condition.
It's in a little bit of a tough time, but they're predicting some very, very strong times. 2 very strong years in a row is wonderful news, and it just gets more people out. The survey results from Port Phillip Bay also provide an indication of what can be expected in the years ahead in other Victorian bays, including Western Port and Corner Inlet. Mr. Dowling said the adult whiting residing in coastal waters and the tiny whiting larvae drift eastwards from spawning grounds, most likely to be far Western Victoria and eastern South Australia for approximately 3 months. So they're little babies going along for 3 months before entering our bays and estuaries during spring when scientists conduct the surveys. At about 4 years of age, most whiting have left the bays to complete their adult life in coastal waters. And because whiting only reside in the bays for a few years of their life, these fisheries naturally fluctuate depending on the number of tiny larvae that entered the bays several years prior. So there you go, some boom times.
Couple that with a banning of netting in Port Phillip Bay.
It's going to go
Bay,
nuts.
and that is a big time.
And we haven't quite seen the results of that because a couple of netters have been a bit naughty, catching a bit too many whiting. From, you know, like the few that are left in the system. Well, you know, they're meant to be targeting the species they used to target. Now they're going, oh, hang on.
I think they're giving it a red hot go.
$50 a kilo for whiting, and they're doing the wrong thing. But anyway, another one that I mentioned earlier on, this is absolutely a great thing. Oh, sorry, I didn't mention this one. I'm out of order. It's all right, I know what I'm doing. Bit rusty. There's a big hoo-ha going on at Lakes Entrance very shortly, and the headline is "Get Hooked on Fresh Fish Events at Lakes Entrance. Seafood lovers and keen recreational anglers will soon converge on Lakes Entrance for the Labor Day long weekend in March to join the festivities of the free Hooked on Lakes Entrance event and the first ever symposium, that's a pretty big word, symposium on dusky flathead.
Jesus,
so there you go.
Symposium.
Member for Eastern Victoria, Harriet Shing, said last year's inaugural Hooked on Lakes Entrance event attracted more than 1,000 people, many of whom were expected to return again this year on Sunday, the 11th of March between 10 and 4. It also went on to say that based at Lakes Entrance Foreshore Reserve, the free event attractions will include seafood cooking demonstrations. Who wouldn't want to be at that? Commercial fishers tied up to the wharf explaining their practices and life at sea. Now, there's a lot of commercial fishers out in the ocean there, and you get to see all about it because it's all good. Fish filleting and fish preparation tips from experts. Fish care, come and try fishing clinics for children and families. A cook-off, local personalities and chefs got them out of order. Market stalls, food stalls and kids amusements, tables and chairs to enjoy the waterfront view. So how good is that? The symposium that's on, boys, on dusky flathead will include Dr. Paul Hamer, no stranger to this program. He's going to be talking about Victoria's dusky flathead fishery, and expert anglers like Bushy who'll provide helpful tips to improve your catch rate. Symposiums on Saturday 10th of March from 9:30 to 3 o'clock at Bellevue on the Lakes, on the Esplanade in Lakes Entrance. There you go.
Good event. I like it.
I mean, there's some great events. They've had Hooked on Portland, I think was on
that's
just
right.
Just the other weekend,
and that was pretty popular.
Bands,
the Murray
everything.
Conference, the Trout Conference, I mean, well done to the VFA and others, I know, for putting together these events. Now, I did mention this one before, and this is a cracker. Hazelwood Pondage is open for business, boys.
Just when you thought.
So, for all those people that said they're all dead, all washed up on the shore, just get onto social media, get onto the Victorian Fisheries Authority's Facebook page and have a look. Harriet Shing, who is the local member down there, holding a nice barra that was electrofished on the day of the opening. But I'll just read you a few things from the media release. Anglers in Victoria now have better opportunities to bag a barramundi at Hazelwood Pondage, with 500 metres of new fishing access to set to officially open from the 1st of February. So it's been open for 12 days now. Harriet Shing got down there again. Great member, local member, who's really behind fishing too, Harriet. And she said chasing barramundi at Hazelwood Pondage will have better shore-based access to catch that fish of a lifetime. Gippsland Water have agreed to open a 500-metre stretch of land alongside the Pondage Channel, where plenty of stocked barramundi now reside. So they all jumped the brick wall, or the rock wall, whatever it is, got up there into the spot where the pipe comes out, where they pump the water from under the mine, and they are thriving. They estimate that there is around 1,500 barramundi that have survived the cold winter, and they're now confined to the upper reaches of the 36-hectare channel. So it's not
It's not little.
small.
It's not small,
It's not a
no.
block
No,
of land
not
at all.
in suburbia. 36 hectares. Stock barramundi are actively feeding again in the pondage, which has reached 30 degrees. And anglers have a good chance of enticing a strike on a cast lure. The access improvements include a road, fencing, signs, and a new car park, all of which keep the Hazelwood Pondage a family-friendly option that can be enjoyed by locals and visitors.
Nice.
Like I said, plenty of news. We'll keep going. What number was that? Number 4, number 5. I'll keep going. There's always something bad that happens, isn't there? And
It's always based
these
around
ones
this.
here, you're gonna love the photos when we show them at the end, right? But greedy abalone dives busted for illegal activity. How many times have we read that out as a headline?
All the time.
Way too many, unfortunately.
2 men from Parkville and a man from Endeavour Hills will be charged on summons and have had their diving equipment seized for allegedly taking a commercial quantity of undersized abalone on the Mornington Peninsula last weekend. This was only on Monday, so it was just happened.
Yeah.
Victorian Fisheries Authority Director Ian Park says officers were conducting a patrol. I should have a switch. I don't know that I'm allowed to do that, but anyway. They were conducting a patrol and apprehended a man, or the men, near Flinders at an area known locally as the Quarry. A team of fisheries officers in a patrol vessel launched from Cows, supported by officers on 2 PWCs, code for very fast jet skis, who recovered the bag along with the second bag, or they got divers in the water and they recovered a second bag that was thrown into the water. On inspection, the bags, it revealed that the men had allegedly taken a total of 112 abalone. There you go. Now,
So just a few over there, babe.
they're high-tech bags. Have a look at them on your screen. Aren't they Woolies? Aren't they Woolies shopping bags?
I think so.
So they've gone to all expenses to get proper catch bags here. 105 of them were undersized, and I tell you what, if you're out having a quick dive,
out of 112 abalone, 105
are
were undersized.
yeah. and if you're out to surf and you see a jet ski coming towards you, he's not just having fun because he's probably a bloke with a badge. So anyway, there you go. Unbelievable that sort of thing.
It's always based around abalone.
Yeah. I know,
Unbelievable.
it's crazy. And like I said, there's no way we could actually get all the news that happened in the last 5 weeks out. So anyway, there you go. Up next, product of the week, and it's biodegradable, right after this on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
Hi, David Kramer here. If you love talking fishing, why not get your company involved? Just go to talkingfishing.com.au and click the link to help support the show. Get on board today.
Talking fishing.
Product of the week, brought to you by Tackle World.
Talking fishing.
Now, typically over the last 5 weeks, every year is generally pretty quiet for new product, but Shimano have come to the rescue and showed us their brand new range of squidgies called Bio Tough. What makes these unique and a little bit different to the previous and still current range of squidgies is that they cannot be broken. It is pretty cool. They are a very highly elasticized material, meaning that when those naughty little tailor come around trying to have a swipe at everything that moves, you can actually get more than one fish off these things. If you get a chance, drop into your local Tackle World store and have a look, because they are a little bit different. They've been catching fish for a little while now, so I can safely say that they've been proven. And the amount of detail that has gone into these plastics is what sets them apart from everything else on the market. Now, you'll notice from the slide previously as I was talking there is 3 different models. There's a little flick bait style, there is a little paddle tail style, and also the wriggler style, which is probably what realistically put squidgies on the map in the first place. Where the detail comes into it is each body shape, though it looks the same when you look at it out of the packet, it's subtly different to suit each tail model. So the flick bait, which I'm holding here, is quite a slender body style with a little fin on the back there, aims that when you work the rod tip, that darts around like a little bait fish, designed to be worked quite quick. You compare that to the wriggler tail and also the paddle tail, those bodies are subtly different again. So in the paddle tail, they're trying to achieve that body roll that drive Barra, mulloway, those species that you can really get a slow roll onto. It really gets them working perfectly in tune to entice a strike straight away. And the wriggler tail, a little bit thin towards the tail so that you get maximum tail action with moving that plastic quite subtly. So they're the 3 actions. Every single one is UV enhanced. Now, we've talked about UV quite a lot over previous seasons in this show, and it's just an absolute mainstay, and it's a staple of lures in all forms, and especially soft plastics. So the Squidgies Bios have been brought up to date with that. All the colours are just well-known, easy fish-catching colours, and we are going to see new colours straight away. Dave, we were at a Tackle World conference last week. Shimano did a little prezzo and gave us a little bit of a sneak peek on what's to come. So there's new colours coming straight away. There's a couple of new tails, which I'm sure we'll show you later on as we see them. But these have been a quite little achiever over the last 5 weeks, and Chris, I know they've been doing really well in your area too.
Catching lots of fish down our way, that's for sure.
That's right. They're quietly sneaking under the radar. So, massively stretchy.
I've got some questions. So that it does look like a rubber band.
It does. You can do whatever you want.
So you talk about tailor, which is a classic that'll nip at it, but even flathead can rip your plastic apart.
Yeah.
Does it not? Is it stronger?
Well, it's probably.
Or does the teeth bounce off it?
Yeah, strong is probably not the right word for it. It's
durable.
It is. It's almost so soft and so rubber-like that it's hard to puncture, and you'll notice that straight away when you try and put a jig head through it.
It's a little bit different.
The technology itself in the plastic is nothing new, but along with the UV enhancement, biodegradable, which for this day and age, believe it or not, is important as ever.
For the people that don't like fishing and hate animals being hurt, is this what they would use because they're biodegradable?
Well, I guess so. I have to ask one.
Trelly, know a few.
Yeah, Trelly.
Definitely ask Trelly next week if he knows anyone that is attached to the biodegradable technology.
That's right. So, as bit of a technical buff when it comes to these things, it's that detail in the body, the subtle changes to the body shapes themselves. Because, like you said, you look at them at face value, and they all look exactly the same with a different tail. But they have been fine-tuned. And after speaking to Scotty, who's in charge of product and development at Shimano, this was one of his little projects. This got quite monotonous for them, and it actually got quite expensive because he kept sending them back to resample because upon testing, they just not quite what they wanted. So you can be assured that with these products, the Squidgies Bio Tough, they are 100% ready to go. The research is done, the testing's done. All you got to do is put one on a jig head and get stuck into a few fish. So have a look at those. Jump into your local Tackle World or Trelly store. Grab them.
Squidgies Bio.
Pull one out of the packet.
Very impressive colours.
It's pretty cool. The options are going to be endless with these things as they continue to build on the program.
How many sizes did you say?
So there's 2 sizes in each model. There's 100 mil and a 75 mil. And then 120. The paddle tail. The tail a bit different, but very interesting. I like them a lot. And you'll see fishing reports. I'm sure these will pop up in Catch of the Week as they start to dominate a few fish, especially those big flatties at tides.
That paddle tail works awesome on them.
Wait, there you go.
I like it.
Talking about some good fishing, the Western Port Whiting Challenge, I've got all the details about to come up on your screen, is on again. The 29th Annual Amateur Whiting Challenge is on in 2018, Saturday the 3rd and Sunday the 4th of March, which is only a few weeks away.
Yes.
I will be there presenting the prizes from 4 p.m. on Sunday. Come down and say hello. It is a great club on the foreshore of Hastings, next to the boat ramp there. Great little club, and they always get a great crowd there and hundreds of anglers. Please register. I'm trying to read the screen with my great eyes that I have. There's the major prize is the boat, and you can see it there, 4-metre angler dinghy, 30 horsepower Yamaha outboard, and a boat trailer to go with it. And last year, from memory, a young boy won it, and his father just cried.
That's pretty stoked,
it was just so good, So valued, quite a lot of value there. $8,000 worth of boat.
It's a serious prize.
It's pretty good. If you catch a 1 kilo or greater fish, or you're the first one to catch that anyway, you get $1,000 cash out of Paul Worsling's wallet. Now, his wallet has not been open for quite some time. I saw it the other day, it was dusty. There are moths living in it. And you get $1,000 cash from Paul Worsing for the first person to catch a 1 kilo. And this year, we'll talk about the whiting season if we can in a minute. There's some big fish around.
Yeah,
there's a lot, but there's some big fish around, and there's a chance for you to get it.
Heaviest 2-day bag wins an original whiting painting
Yeah.
by Bridget Thomas.
Yeah, and they had a similar thing last year. She paints one every year for the comp.
It's pretty
and
cool.
it's just
Unique.
absolutely
It's
amazing.
different. That's
40
right.
other prizes. Get down there, get your entries in. Entry forms, I think you can go online at WPAC, which stands for Western Port Angling Club, wpac.com.au, and or your entry forms are in all good tackle shops for the Western Port Angling Club's Whiting Challenge, which I think is in both bays now. Anyway, you can. It's not just Western Port, but it is the Western Port Angling Club. There you go. Let's talk about the whiting season that is, because my experience, Chris, and I fish mainly along the Mornington Peninsula, is that people aren't getting their bags as much, but what fish they do get, they're well into the 40s.
That's
42,
pretty much what's
43.
happening over our side of the bay, all the way from Queenscliff to St Leonard's, Burke Street. That's just non-stop there, and around to Clifton Springs. Yeah, definitely the size of the fish is good.
So even inside Cryo Bay, same thing.
Yep. Like you're sort of going to get nice fish, sort of 35, 36 centimetres, 10 or 12 of them. If you come back around to Queenscliff with the stronger water and stuff, the size is getting a bit bigger again, like 40, 44.
Yeah.
But you might get 8, 10, maybe 12 fish.
Yeah.
So
it's been a similar sort of story for Western Port too. I think most Western Port anglers we speak to through the shop are saying the same sort of things. Probably struggling to get the numbers that they have got in the past.
Yeah.
But those fish they're getting are just absolute quality. I don't think I've ever been involved in a season where there's been as many, say, 44, 45 centimetre plus fish. Generally, you might see one in a bag, you might see one in, a week, depending on how it's been. But these big fish consistently seem to be turning up this season.
Yeah.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
Chris, any small fish being caught over your way? Because I've heard whispers, in fact, we were talking today, whiting, maybe around that 15, 20 centimetres, a lot of small ones.
Yeah, they have started to pop up off St Leonard. So sort of, if you fish as the sun's going down and into the night, you'll get those bigger fish. But sort of during that day, sort of 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, there has been some smaller fish. You've actually sort of had to measure them and double check and then put them back again.
Good stock for years to come.
Oh, that's for sure,
It's a very different whiting season, I think, but a good one and a tough one at the same time. My theory is that as the water gets a little bit cooler, they will come on a lot.
100%. Easter's the best time for us. Yeah.
Up next, Kramer's mailbag and plenty more right after this on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Plenty of mail over the holidays, I tell you.
My favourite segment.
We went on holidays. I'm sorry, folks. We went on holidays for all those people that wrote in and we didn't answer because we were on holidays. Anyway, that's the way it is, right? Let's punch through this. In fact, this one arrived today. I've done them in a bit of an order. So this one, Andy, he writes, "Hi, Kramer. I'm writing to you about the reduced access to Eildon Weir. I've been fishing up at Eildon for around 40 years. We've launched our boat on the Hauqua Arm at the end of Peachy Road. The only other place to launch in that area is the caravan park. This year, the local water authority has installed a gate and locked us out of the area. Could you please raise the issue with Jala, as the reduction of access to the weir means that more pressure is put on the few boat ramps provided at Eildon and forces people to use private ramps." Now, I know that area because I've fish Hauqua a little bit, and it costs you money to launch at the. In fact, you've got to go through the gates, the boom gates. You've got to go in. You want to go at 4 o'clock in the morning. You can't launch a boat because you've got to wait for the caravan park to open the boom gates to let you in to get down to the private caravan park, and you've got to pay.
Sounds a bit
and it gets pretty full because of all the water skiers that are staying in the caravan park. So the local. This is one for Lisa Neville, the Minister for Water, and. Andy, we will. We've actually got Lisa Neville coming on to do the whole hour in a few weeks' time.
Nice.
So
it's a Lisa pile.
We're starting the Lisa pile. Don't you worry about bloody water authority. Water authorities to fishermen, they are employed to make life harder. just when you think life's good or easy, they find a way to change that. For sure. Water authorities, I don't love them. Judy writes in, hello, Mr. Kramer and others on the panel.
Oh, Mr. There's something.
I haven't read all these. I'm just dropping you this letter to comment on the candid remarks you make from. Oh, hang on, is this? Oh no, it's not from Judy. That's from the Hillman. He's using Judy's email. Going well here. Hello, Mr. Kramer and others on the panel. I was just dropping you this letter to comment on the candid remarks you make from time to time on the show regarding one of the senior members of the Western Port Angling Club, that being Don Newman, regarding Don's age and mental status as one of the ageing members of the club. I have only one comment to make on the matter. That is, keep the banter coming. I was worried about this. I enjoy the humour. As for Don, he can take it with a grain of salt. It will not be long before he needs to put in a transom side door in his boat to assist with the landing of his fish. All jokes aside, Don has put a lot of time and effort into the club and the community over the years for the good of fishing. It would be good to have Don on your show to highlight the senior side of fishing. Well, he'd do that at 92 years of age. We'd have to get some sort of way to get him into
the only issue, the wheelchair access is a little bit limited in here, and walking frames don't fit in the lift. So
that's right. Hillman.
Sorry, Donnie.
Thanks to Hillman for writing. I thought that was going to be something serious. Yeah. This one's from Neil. He writes, "Hi, David and Adam and Trelly and Chris." You didn't really write that, but
I figured that.
Part of the family now,
trying to keep you involved, mate.
No
I forgot to ask in my earlier email why the fishing hotspot segment has dropped Richie Minnow as the lead-in to this year. That must have been last year. It doesn't generate the same enthusiasm. Why was it changed? Well, Neil, if you watched every episode, you would have realised he's dead.
Richie got caught.
He got eaten by a shark, didn't he? Is that how he ended?
Well, did he get caught?
Oh, he got caught.
It
doesn't matter. He's dead.
Fill it and release.
That's right. He's gone, mate. Neil, he died.
Someone's dinner.
Yeah, he's got a wife and kids now, and he's dead. He had great life insurance.
Yeah, Chloe the Blowy.
What?
I don't know what
They're
happened
just
then.
saying in my ear that there is a murmur.
What?
There's a murmur he might make it back, but he...
Wow.
Yeah, it's a rumour. Yelling in my ear that it's a rumour. Anyway, he's dead. Let's keep going. G'day, Kramer and the gang at Talking Fishing. Mate, I was watching a rerun of the show and there was a part where you was showing the Spotter's sunglasses. Mate was M8 too.
Nice.
That's
it's new age day.
Texting.
Get with the times.
Did you notice the snake on one of the lenses slide up and then enter the water? Good glasses. Any chance you could throw some my way? LOL. Cheers, guys. Love the show. All the best. Yeah, well.
Great story about that, actually, because Dave didn't actually realise.
I'm just going to write here. That's 173. 173 people have now written in to me about the snake.
And at the time, Dave had no idea there was a snake there. It was awesome.
It was
gold.
It was good. Scary when I first saw it. Thanks for pointing that out too. All right, this one. Geez, we've got some mail like this. The title is Females at Boat Ramps. You know what's coming up.
Yeah, I do.
Anyway, this one is
a lot of in-store feedback about this one too, to be perfectly honest with you.
We've got to organise an event. Yeah. Steph writes in, after seeing your show, I was really peeved at the males' generalisation of females and their apparent inability to back a trailer. Not only can we back trailers as good as any male, this must have been a repeat show or something on Boxing Day or something like that. We hook up the winch, safety chain, get the boat back out of the water, put the tie downs on, safety flag on the motor, rods out of the rocket launcher, then drive my husband home while he enjoys a Bundy. Is that like the best wife in the world?
It's a pretty good job.
Who's the husband? Steph.
His name's Lucky.
He's got it easy.
Steph. Your husband, I'll tell you what, Valentine's Day, if he doesn't take you out to the best restaurant in Melbourne, then he's in strife if you do all that for him.
And you know what? He's got to drive.
Yeah. Another one. Hi, Kramer. I didn't get a chance to watch the show live last night, but had the chance to watch it today. This was after our last episode. I would love to be part of your ramp-off, as women are better than most of these men that attempt launching a boat. My husband found it difficult to teach me, hence I taught myself by launching and retrieving when the ramps were quiet. I think I have become quite good at it and can show some of the men up. Hope to be part of it and look forward to the details. That was from Rosemary. Another one, this is Linda. Hubby and I love watching a show, and lucky for me, I was watching last week's episode. It must have been our last show, about women backing trailers, and I put out for a challenge of the trailer backup. I was very excited when I heard my name called out. Oh, so we must have called your name out, Linda. Michelle, John's wife, Diane, and Linda. It must be that Linda. And as a result, I'm now writing this email. I'm so looking forward to this challenge and meeting you guys, and wait to hear back from you about it. Bring it on, and maybe find the man who wrote the letter that got all this going and put him in the challenge also, and maybe get Tony Tardio there as well. Thank you, Linda. If you'd like to write into Kramer's Mailbag, this is what you do.
Send your mail to Kramer's Mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Boys, I tell you what, we are going to have to organise a ramp off, but you know how busy we are.
Started something there.
We come back from holidays, and then we go to a week-long Tackle World conference. That we solved the problems of the world at.
We did.
At wee late hours of the night. And we've got a bit of backlog of work, so we just need to get through all that, and we will organise a ramp off for the women, Tony Tardio, and whoever wrote that letter. I'm sure I've got it on record. So
it'll be a bit of serious contenders.
We will do that.
Big time.
Chris, let's go back over to your neck of the woods. The Barwon Estuary this time of year. How's that fishing?
It's a great spot for the family. There's plenty of small whiting, salmon, mullet. If you want to take it a bit more serious, a brim, scrubworm, bass shabby. You know, you'll get plenty of big brim there. There's mulloway there as well. Fish the run in tide for those guys. A bit of fresh squid and stuff like that. But right along Sheepwash Road, there's plenty of platforms there. And just a small running sinker rig, bit of prawn, bit of pippy, and you'll catch all of those species and heaps of them. There you go. Just remember to check the size of them. But yeah, there's plenty there for everyone.
We love it when you boys come on the show, because for us where we are, we don't hear much about crowbar unless something insanely special happens. You know, it's a big kingy offshore, it's a big mulloway caught in the river, or the whiting going nuts down Lonnie. It's just an unknown part of the world for us. Say you use the Barwon River, for example. It's legit, isn't it? It's not just, you know, you cruise down there and you hope to catch something.
No.
And hope to catch
It's actually, so you've got the Barwon Estuary, which is the saltwater part, and then a bit further up there's a break and it goes to freshwater. So it runs all the way through Geelong. You fish the freshwater section, you can walk down from the Geelong CBD and you'll catch plenty of redfin. There's even been the odd yellow belly and cod caught in there on a rare occasion. So it's a big system and there's plenty of fish in there.
There you go, I'll tell you what. We're going to talk about another place just in your backyard after the break, but coming up next, this week's Hotspots, it's one of them. We'll be back shortly on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worsland's Tackle World Cranbourne. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now the segment you've all been waiting for.
Hotspots, brought to you by Seamaster Batteries. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
I'll tell you what, if you read some of the comments, boys, people haven't been able to go fishing because they haven't had hotspots. They don't know where to go. Some of the comments on our social media is so funny. But anyway, let's kick it off, get into it, because we want to talk about a couple of them in a little bit of detail. Over your way, Chris, the first one, Clifton Springs for King George whiting. If people are going to Clifton Springs, what area are they going to?
So you just want to head back towards Leopold from the boat ramp there at Jetty Road. So you've got a section called the Kaluas Bank, which goes from 4 to 7 metres of water before it drops and just flattens out to 10 metres. And that bank is just loaded with whiting. So you want to sort of...
on the slope?
On the slope. So you want to sort of get 6, 7 metres of water. You might have to move a few times till you find a patch, but they're on that drop off there. They're not in the real deep water, but they're in that 6, 7 metres of water.
Yeah, there you go. Just your normal baits, pippies,
Pippy
mussels.
and tenderised squid.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yep, so
fresh is best?
Fresh is best. You can catch squid just in close there on the Kaluas Bank, like in 3, 4 metres of water. So.
Nice. The next one, Rosebud on the Mornington Peninsula. I've got to say, Rosebud I think is performing a little bit better than, say, Blairgowrie, Sorrento, Portsea, some of that faster running water. There just seems to be a great congregation around Rosebud. Old Tommy's going to kill me for saying that, but anyway, there is some good King George whiting off Rosebud. Let's head over to Western Port. The middle spit is the king.
The big whiting beacon of Western Port.
Yeah, and the top end seems to be, if you want to fish that top end of the middle spit, seems to be a bit better this time of year, doesn't it?
Yeah, run out tide. If you sort of sit up there as the tide starts to run out, you get those beautiful fish coming off the top of the banks there. They get up there and feed on all the bass yabbies and worms and bits and pieces. So
there you go. Sort of in Western Port, but heading out the western entrance is a place called the Nobbies near Seal Rocks. Where all the tourists go and all that sort of stuff. But there is some good sized kingfish around there at the moment, up to 14 kilos. We've seen photos.
Yep.
And if you're after that big one, I mean, the rip's still firing. That's all good, and the shank and place Barwon Reef, all that sort of stuff. But if you're after a big one and you're coming out of Western Port, certainly around that the Nobbies is the place to be at the moment.
Nice big live bait.
Kings.
Nice big live bait, whether it's
slow
a slimy mackerel, or a big calamari or something.
Yep. Absolutely. The other place for kingfish, Barwon Heads. Tell us about that, Chris. Where do you go?
So you want to head back towards sort of Torquay a little bit. There's a spot called Charlie Mont Reef. It's quite prominent. If the swell's up a little bit, you'll see the waves sort of breaking.
How far out from shore?
Probably only about a kilometre.
Yep.
Oh, so it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty close in. Yep. And it's a fantastic spot, especially of an evening. If we've got those hot days, it's nice and calm, casting stick baits and 7-inch sort of white coloured jerk shad plastics. They just are in great numbers, and they're all sort of about 4 to 6 kilo. There has been a few bigger ones there, so you've got to be set up for those, or you'll get dusted pretty quick.
So people launch in Barwon and then head out to
in the river, so you've got to be pretty careful. The river can be a pretty tricky spot.
Is there a bit of a bar?
Yeah, there is. There is quite a nasty bar there, so you really got to sort of go with someone that's done it before, or just sit back, watch, see what's happening.
Is there different tides? Like, is high tide better to cross than low tide, or run in versus run out? Or
it all depends on which way the wind's going and that sort of stuff. But you generally want the middle of the tide, so the water level's sort of at least enough to get through, because it is quite shallow. It's only most of the rivers like a metre deep.
Wow.
Yep, there is spots where it's deeper, but through the bar it's about a metre and a half.
Yep.
So, and you've got to be careful too if you've got a big boat getting under the bridge. There's a bit of a height clearance there too. So you've got to watch out for that. But it's a great access point.
There you go. Another favourite place we want to talk about this in a little bit of detail, if we can, is the Crater Lakes out the west, out near Camperdown. Lovely place, Camperdown, to just get a motel or caravan park or whatever. And enjoy that town, and you've got Bull and Merri and Purrumbete right at the doorstep, haven't you?
And you can fish them both. They're only 5-10 minutes apart. They're really close, and there is some huge Chinook salmon going in Bull and Merri at the moment.
Yep.
So one way to get them is to downrig. So you look for the thermocline, which is about 35 feet at the moment.
Yep.
Set your downriggers and just troll Tassie Devils around. They're getting a lot of sort of 1.2 kilo fish doing that. But the best way to go the back of Potter's Point, which is the point sort of on the western side of the lake.
Yep.
Sit in the back of that, you anchor up in about 45-50 foot of water.
You anchor?
Anchor. Yeah, nice and still. Then you chuck burley, and you want heaps of pilchards, cut them all up, chuck them in.
Yeah.
About an hour's time, all the salmon will start gathering around.
Really?
Yep.
So when you say heaps of, you don't just pour the bucket over, do you?
No. So handfuls sort of every couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And then they all just gather around.
They'll get a sniff and.
Yep. And it sort of comes in a bit of a feeding frenzy, and just pilchard fillets, a nice fine pilchard fillet.
in the fresh water.
Believe it or not, that's what you get them on, pilchard
so
fillet.
cool.
That's the best bait. There's other baits they take, but pilchard fillet is the best by far.
Yeah. Okay, and then over at Purrumbete, I saw some photos today, which were too late to make the program, but we'll put them on next week, of some cracking brown trout.
10-pound plus trout just on the mark there, and good numbers, not just like one a trip. Guys are getting 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And again, it's downrigging. So up the back there near the homestead, and again, pink Tassie Devils and that sort of stuff's the way to go.
Nice. Wow. There you go. Some of those areas, Purrumbete, is that a bit shallower than Bull and Merri?
No, it's about the same depth, but Bull and Merri is pretty salty, so it doesn't sort of have any weed growth or anything around the edges.
Yep.
Purrumbete's pretty much straight up fresh water, so there's lots of nice weed, and it does have a shallower section that's about 3 or 4 metres deep, which is great for casting lures in amongst all the weed beds and stuff. So it has a bit more sort of diversity, I suppose you'd say, at Purrumbete.
One of the things I also want to touch on, and we haven't got a lot of time, is that's the end of Hotspots, by the way, so we told the people where to go. If you're going out for kings and you want some live bait, people are always asking, where do you go for live bait? And I struggle with where's a consistent place to go for yakkers or even slimies. Is over your side, is there a consistent place to go?
Anywhere where there's a mussel bed, you'll tend to find some yakkers or some slimies.
Well, you've got a lot of mussel farms over your way, and you've got all the mussel producers over there. Is there places where, you know, that...
Yeah, they're sort of a long way from the Kingfish ground, so it's a bit of a run, but otherwise, generally offshore, there's quite a few at the moment. You can just sort of see the water sort of all shimmering, and that's generally the slimies all schooling up. Yeah,
okay. Many yakkers around?
More slimies than yakkers, but the yakkers are there. But they're big too. So.
Yeah. We've at a couple of places, and there's certainly a place off Rosebud that we go where we're getting big mackerel. Not so many yakkers. Some of the local haunts out at the mussel farm, I was out there 2 Sundays ago and really struggled. The wall at Blairgowrie at the marina, really struggled there. And people are getting salmon, there's no doubt. People are getting salmon, and the gummies on that full moon the other week was week and a half. The big super moon. 31st of Jan, you know. Certainly some good gummy shark coming, but and the salmon, if you want live bait or even big chunk baits, you know, the salmon are just everywhere in the bay.
Squid's a popular live bait too.
That's
everywhere in close.
Have you got anywhere over there where you're getting cuttlefish? Like there's certainly...
Actually, we caught some good cuttlefish off the back of Charlemont Reef.
Oh, it's offshore?
Offshore.
Really?
Yeah. Thumpers, huge.
What the hell were you doing with a squidgy over the side?
We dropped an anchor and fishing for some gummies while waiting for the kingfish to show up. And it took a bait, so...
Wow. There just seems to be an influx, and I mean, there's certain places...
sort of off the back of Colindina there in 5-10 metres of water, you'll get plenty of cuttlefish in there. Big jigs, though.
There you go. Amazing. I tell you what, cuttlefish, if you don't know it, they are my favourite. I just love them for eating and for bait, so you just can't beat them. That's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed our first show back for 2018. Next week, Trelly is back, and in Product of the Week, we're going to preview some technology most of you wouldn't even know existed. Make sure you send us your fishing pics. The outlook is for a great weekend, so get out fishing. Until we see you again next Tuesday on Talking Fishing, please stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.